This is one of the most magical blocks in Minecraft, and what you're seeing here isn't a mod. It's the real thing, complete with a floating book, held together not by lapis lazuli, but by something even more magical: physics. Welcome back to Project Kwokthrough, where we turn pixels into props. Today, we're building a real enchanting table. Glowing diamond corners, levitating book, the whole thing. Along the way, we'll learn a bit about maglev and electromagnetism. But science aside, this is just a really cool build to have next to your bookshelf, like where it belongs in Minecraft. And it's actually super easy to put together. You'll see, so grab some rotten flesh to snack on and follow along. I'll start by explaining the game plan right here, in the Minecraft world. Man, I haven't been here in years. I wonder how my dogs are doing. Anyway, I came here to get a closer look at an in-game enchanting table, so let's go and find it. I could look it up in Google Images, but this is way more immersive. And here it is, in all its glory. Okay. Here we can see the enchanting table is 16 pixels wide and long, and 12 pixels tall. That's already important if we want to make this prop proportional. The diamond pieces are 4x4 pixels, but they have this little nub here. A nice detail to capture. But the real star of the show is that levitating book. This would be amazing if we can replicate that in real life. And if you enjoy turning video game items into real working props, subscribe. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, so join in on the long run, because reaching that milestone unlocks even bigger projects I've been planning. Let's grab the dimensions for the book and write them down for later. One more thing, the enchanting table is actually a light source, with a light level of 7. Let me get rid of the light so you can see. Look at that. Alright, so we have two things to consider if we want to stay true to the game. First, the book has to levitate. And second, we want it to light up. Not terrible. This is going to look amazing in real life. With that in mind, let's jump back to the real world and get crafting. Oh shoot. Welcome back. Before we start modeling, let me show you the two components that will make this whole thing work. First, this LED lamp kit. It runs off USB-A and has an inline switch. This is going inside the enchanting table to light up the diamond corners. Then we have the magnetic levitation DIY kit. It comes with a base that will go inside the enchanting table, and a magnet that goes inside the book. This is what will make the book float. Here, I'll give you a quick demo. Nice. It even has built-in LEDs. We won't be needing this 3D printed casing though. And instead of pointing the LED upward like it's designed to, I'm flipping it to face downward so the levitating book gets a nice clean underglow. Both of these items are from the Bamboo Lab store, so they're easy to get. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to grab them too. With that done, let's move on to designing. Alright, we're back at my trusty computer. You know what that means. Time for another 60-second 3D modeling Kwokthrough. Buckle up and start the timer. Okay, we're using our golden rule. Every Minecraft pixel equals 1 centimeter in real life. First, let's make a 16 by 16 by 12 centimeter box. Hollow it out. Then I'm adding these 4 pieces for the magnetic base to sit on. I'm keeping the bottom open because it does get warm, so airflow matters. And then create these 4 diamond pieces. I really like making Minecraft props because everything is just so mathematically gritty. No, not that kind of gritty. I made this ring that will hold the lamp LED in place. And now for some holes. One for the power cord, and this one right here for the magnet's LED button. And a bunch for ventilation. And I'll make a thin piece to use as a cover. Now for the tricky part, the book. I made this internal piece that holds the magnet, which I'll fuse with the cover of the book. My first prototype looked awkward as it exposed the magnet holder underneath, which completely killed the illusion, so I had to make the book slightly thicker to hide it. But there's another issue. The book tilts in Minecraft, and if I tilt this too much, the magnet holder starts peeking out again. So after testing, 5 degrees is the max without breaking the illusion or making it any thicker. Lastly, the pages are designed to snap into the cover to keep the magnet accessible. And I add a tiny hole underneath for the LED. Alright, that was a lot of talking. But now the entire thing is ready. Let's take a breather and print the whole thing. Alright, let's put everything together. First, I want to make sure all the pieces actually fit. Also, if you haven't noticed yet, I printed the diamond corners in translucent filament, so light can pass through them nicely. Let's remove these supports. Wow, that was a really satisfying fit. Cool. Now, let's see if the LED fits. There's just enough space in this ventilation hole to slip the LED through. And the lid closes flush as well, so fire it up. Alright, nice. That looks amazing. But the LED is way brighter than I expected. The light's blasting through the obsidian walls. In Minecraft, obsidian is basically indestructible, and pitch black, so this is inaccurate. We'll have to tackle that later. Next, the levitation kit. Good news, the base fits perfectly into my design. Now for the part we've been waiting for, the book. The copper wire goes through this little slit here. And if you're wondering why, it's because the wire can't touch the magnet, or the LED won't work. It's powered entirely by the magnetic field from the base. Nice. The book is floating, everything fits, and nothing exploded. Not that it's supposed to, but I'm calling that a success. The book floats thanks to electromagnets. There's a sensor in the base that constantly measures the book's position and keeps adjusting the magnetic field to hold it in that perfect floating spot. Now that we know the mechanics work, the last step is making it actually look like an enchanting table. Now, I could be a tryhard and paint every pixel by hand, but I don't have the time or patience for that. I uploaded the texture images to Walmart's 1-hour photo printing service, and they're ready for pickup, so let's go get them. Alright, we're here at my local Walmart. While we're here, we might as well grab some stuff for Taco Tuesday. Thanks. Have a good day. Alright, I got the photos. I'll see you back at the Kwokthrough. Okay, we're back. Let's see how the photos turned out. Looks great. We've got textures for the cover of the book, 3 copies for the sides of the table, the book pages, the top of the table, and the bottom. I actually printed the diamond pieces on special backlit film, so they glow a little better when the LEDs turn on later. Also because Walmart prints have watermarks on the back, and I definitely don't want that showing through. Alright, let's trim these down. I'm crossing my fingers that the textures are actually to scale with my 3D print, because if they're not, I'm going to have a bit of a problem. Hey, this is not for you. Get down. I'll give you your treat later. Deal? Alright. Nice, the table textures are all cut. In my case though, I won't be needing these diamond textures, so I'll cut those out too. There we go, all the diamonds are out. Now let's cut the real diamonds. I'll cut them like this, then fold them here so they slot perfectly into the corners like so. Alright, let's start gluing all the textures. I'm applying a thin layer of super glue across the entire surface and pressing it down for a few seconds to let it sit. Alright, the diamonds are done. Let's move on to the table. Now we need to deal with the light leaking through the obsidian. The best solution I can think of is just painting it black. That worked in my last video where I made Super Mario blocks, so hopefully it works here too. I'll do the same for the lid, except I'll paint it in dark red. Okay, I don't really like these thin white edges here, so I'm going to carefully paint it over in black. Next up is the book, so let's start by cutting out all the textures. You'll notice there are 3 textures for the pages. I'll explain that in a second, but one of them needs something a little special. Let's do a bit of origami. I need a bunch of creases so it can wrap nicely around the 3D print. Now I'm going to cut these corners and then cut it along the middle here. Now for the cover. I'll paint the edges brown, glue on the texture, and then punch a small hole for the LED. For the inside of the cover, we really only need this section of the texture. Perfect, we have the book. Now going back to these extra page textures, this step is optional, and I'm not even sure if I'll like it yet. But in the game, the book has the few loose pages sticking out, so I want to try recreating that. I printed out these tiny spacers that I'll glue on. Alright, I actually think that looks pretty good. This is the kind of detail that only Minecraft players will clock. Finally, we can put all the components back in and call it a day. But will everything actually work and look as good as it does in the game after everything we just did? Let's find out. And that's it for this video, guys. I had a blast bringing this to life, and I kinda wanna make more functional Minecraft blocks. Let me know in the comments which one you wanna see next. I'm already brainstorming some more, including these. Special thanks to all my Patreon members. Oh, right. I'm still brand new to this, but if you want to support the channel, you could be one of the very first. Shout out to my 995 subscribers. You've been here since almost the beginning, and we're almost at 1K. K for Kwokthrough. To celebrate, I've got something amazing coming up next. This project was just a fun little warm-up while I work on the bigger builds. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you in the next video, and hope you have a kwoktastic day.